undergrad. I had a 5-year break between undergrad and applying to my counseling doctoral program. And it was really intimidating for me to come in to the doctoral program, especially after taking a 5-year break. And I remember there were a couple of people that I especially wanted to meet during my interviews, and the way the interview set up is you meet with specific people, but you have the chance to take some initiative and go and meet the other professors. Well, there was a particular professor, Dr. Araceli, that I really wanted to meet, and throughout the day I kept trying to meet him, and he was busy, and he was seeing other students, and he was, not in his office, or he was doing something else, and I just never got a chance to meet him. And I remember thinking at the end of the day, this is the guy that I came to meet, and I never got a chance to meet him. This isn't good. And I remember seeing him, and interview day was over. It was done, 5 o'clock, quitting time. And I went up to him and I said, Dr. Araceli, my name is Elizabeth Poliskova. I really wanted to meet you. And he said, Mija, ven. And he came and he sat down with me and he talked to me about the program, about the type of support, about being a Latino or Latina in the higher education setting. And it was really great for him to have sat down and talked to me, and it just really stuck out for me. One of the things that we talked about after the interview day was kind of using or relying on or finding support in the other students in the program, and his RA, GA, I don't know the term, was on campus that day and was in his office, and he said, ven conmigo. And we went back to his office, and I met Zoila, who was working with him at the time. And this is after a half an hour of us talking. We still go back to his office, and we still sit down, and we talk some more. And we talk about Marianismo y Machismo, and we talk about the work that Zoila has been able to do with Dr. Araceli and their teamwork, and his really mentoring of her. And they pull up Zoila's CV, and it's like 5 miles long, and they show me about these different things that they have worked on. And Dr. A stepped out. I don't know where he went, but Zoila gave me a couple of her own consejos even in that interview day, and I just remember leaving that interview thinking, this is where I want to be. This is the type of support and community that I feel that I'm going to need to have, especially since it's been 5 years and I didn't have a psychology background, so I already felt a little bit behind the times. So it was really nice having having that experience even before I got into the program, and knowing that this is something that I could have in a doctoral program, and this is something that whether or not I get into ASU, wherever I go, I want to have a support system like that.
Very paternal, almost more of a paternal feeling, where he's like, mija, like sometimes I feel like he's even like acting like my dad. Mija, ¿qué hiciste? ¿Qué pasó? And it took me a while to tener a little bit of confianza, because like, oh, he's my advisor, he's my faculty member, not my faculty, but kind of that level. And so it's a different way of relating when I think about it that way, versus like, he would come in and like, ven, te tengo que contar algo, ven, me da confianza, and I think that's really important, and it feels like, oh wow, he trusts me in a certain way, que les voy a contar algo.
I love it.
And you're like, really?
Chisme.
Chisme. Se le voy a poner cremas a los tacos. And, but it's more of the familiarity. And I think for me, like, what sticks out for me with Dr. A is the term mija. For whatever reason, I have never heard the term mija in a higher educational institution. It just doesn't go hand in hand in my head. And when he said mija, it's like automatically I thought home. It's my uncles who call me mija. It's my relatives who call me mija. It's a term of endearment. that pulls at a very personal level. And that personal level, it's like it's school, and then it's home. That's personal. And that term for me is so powerful that it bridged that gap. And I think that's important because, in a way, this is my new home. I'm here all the time. And I need to be able to survive this new home. All the hoops that we get through, all the things that we have to do as students. And it's stressful. And when that term gets used, it's just sometimes it's like, you can breathe or something. I don't know, it just triggers something very personal. And I think my relationship with him is very informal. Very, I can joke with him. I can joke with him in Spanish.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah. Or the little things like, que se vaya por la sombrita, no me voy a quemar. These little things that I will not hear on campus because it's very, in a way, culturally bound. So it's very familial. Like it somehow hits on that part of me. So and again, for me, symbolically, it's like bridging that. But yeah, I think it's more of that kind of joking way of.
And I think that allows us to kind of go in there and be ourselves. Like I will admit that there are times where I am not fully myself, and I am not fully, I have a role to play as a student in a particular setting, and this is how I need to behave and present myself, and I have to fit this certain mold. And I feel like with Dr. A, I can be more of myself, and I can be my true self. The various ones that there are.
Yeah.
Your multiple selves.
The multiple selves. I can show my multiple selves, and it doesn't have to be a certain cookie cutter presentation. Now. If it had not been for the support of my academic madrinas, and if it had not been for Dr. Arceniega introducing me in and ushering me into the family, I don't think I would have stayed in the program. I got a lot of support and consejos y abrazos and cafecitos with my two madrinas in particular, who were more advanced students in the program, Latina women who were able to share their experiences with me, and not just personal and social experiences, but they helped me out with my research. And I remember one day I had a research proposal to do for one of my classes. Not one day, it was like a month. And Angela, I'm going to call her my friend Angela, who's really my madrina, we went to IHOP and we sat there for like 2 or 3 hours just talking things out and, eating our pancakes, but me like writing down the stuff. Oh, that's a good idea, Angela. Oh, I never thought about that from that perspective. And she sat there with me and she kind of helped guide me through it. And I just really was so thankful for that day.